You're listening to Thrill Talk, where we discuss business, life, and everything else we like. Produced in Tucson, Arizona, and brought to you by Team Integrity Homes and the Military PCS Referral Network. Here's Aaron and Chase.
All right, we are back at it again in a little different format. We've got myself, Chase. We should come up with nicknames. Nicknames. Aaron Wilson over there.
Aaron.
Aaron. And Mr. James Workizer.
That's me. Aaron's the mayor, by the way.
The mayor.
We won't talk. We'll talk about my nickname, I'm sure.
We're actually going to talk about Ragbri a little bit too.
Yep.
So
It's a good topic.
it is. So it's been a hot minute since we've had a podcast, but we are back at it. Got some new equipment that we can travel around with, which I'm excited about, so we can talk to some more people.
Should be great going through security with this.
We'll each
A
have
lot of wires.
We'll each have
Yeah, you're getting patted down, dude. You're getting a cavity search.
Why do they always take me into that other room over there?
it's recording equipment, I swear.
Yes, it is.
So tell me about what you guys just did a couple weeks ago.
We rode across Iowa on bicycles.
Some of you did. I rode in a truck a lot. But, yeah, we did. We kind of went across Iowa.
That's awesome.
So
What was the best part about it?
For me, the time with my now 16-year-old son, he went for the first time last year. And a lot of folks go on it 1 year, and then they never come back.
Yeah.
And it's okay. But he told me a couple weeks after last year, he's like, Dad, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And he was 15 years old, so I was thinking, well, okay, we'll see. Sure enough, right back at it. And just a great time with him. And the Iowa hospitality,
Like none other.
it's a real thing. You're from Iowa, right, Chase?
Well, family is, yeah. Yeah, it's Aaron told me about this before I went last year. He said, everybody says, oh, this town has the nicest people in the world. Iowa has the nicest people in the world.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do. The way people opened up their houses to us, and Aaron can tell more about it. There were some folks that
We didn't know. It was like
we
they
didn't know.
knew they knew this one couple. We didn't know that couple. Yeah, and then
It was a friend of a friend, and then they ended up having to go out of town. I don't know if it was an emergency, and they're like, "Oh, here's our garage code. Just go on in.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't use the master bedroom, but other than that, the house is yours."
So you
we
just cleaned up real well.
We did, and cool thing, they had one of their kids had a savings jar on the kitchen counter, and we loaded it up. Like all of us put like $20 in there. So
Yeah.
it was a good time.
Yeah, we
She met her goal.
when
She
she's actually have to find a W-2.
Yeah, now she's like, hey, we need to have these people back every week.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, when I got back last year, like 2 days after we got back, and we have 3 kids that are younger than yours,
Mhm.
and I told my wife, I go, oh, I can't wait to go back next year. And she goes, well, you know that falls on our anniversary every year, right? And she goes, let's do every other year. And I was showing her pictures every night, and she goes, I'm so sorry I made you miss that. I was like, can I go next year? She goes, 100%. She goes, but you're flying.
I think, every year there's something a little bit different. But I think this last year had a little bit a different impact. I think we did basically a meeting 2 days before it ended. And I think that was a huge impact when everybody kind of described why they came on the ride and what impact they've had so far. Because you know what? It is. I mean, there was 12 of us, and we're a bunch of misfits, with different diverse personalities, and however it blended very well. Very well. And so it's kind of unique to hear everybody's story.
So let's talk about this. You've taken Taylor, who is now 21.
22.
22.
Yeah.
So she went when she
Years
was
ago. She was about 7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
And then Kaylee went last year when
She's
was
went
18.
twice. My youngest daughters went twice. Yeah.
So Kaylee went, she was 18. 17, 18.
17 and 18.
Yeah. And then
Tyler at 15 and 16.
So for those that are listening, Ragbri, literally right across Iowa, camping out people's basements, floors, every day is a different city. And if you drive, it's a 13-day trip. If you ride, it's 7 days of riding, but really 9 days total, day on the front
2 days travel. 2 days travel versus 5 days of travel.
So what is, as my kids are younger, there's no way I can't ride across Iowa by myself as an adult. They can't go right now. What is the coolest thing that you guys will remember about the trips with your kids?
I'll let you go first there, James.
For me, it's that time with them. It's Aaron's talked about this before too. I mean, we've gone on trips. We go to San Diego a lot, and now it's like, what time was that? Or was that the time that they kind of blend into one another. But with Ragbri, there's that, there's an anticipation, there's a camaraderie with it. And it's like you're seeing your friends from out of state that you haven't seen for years or for the last year, and you just pick right back up where you left off.
Or people that live in state that you haven't seen in a year.
Yeah. Nate, for example. Nate and Tyler, right back at it after a year.
Without skipping a beat?
Without skipping a beat. Mike, same thing. It's just because it's not fun. I know it sounds weird. It's not fun. It's 500 miles, 10,000 feet of climbing, 90 degrees, humidity, camping.
And you're setting up every afternoon, taking down every morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're intense, yeah.
But when you get done, it's super fun. Yeah. There's something about the event, the entire thing that just, and the fact that he wants to go back and wants to spend that time with me. I mean, that's really cool too.
But there's something about it too, like when it sucks, you know that you're in the suck with 15,000 other people.
Yep.
Yes.
That when you look at that hill and you're like, oh crap, and you're pedaling up it, and then like an 85-year-old woman flies by it, and you're like, what the heck?
If she can do it. Or the unicycler that passes you when you're,
yes.
What just happened here?
Or the guy that, the 1912 bicycle with the big tire on the front and the little one on the back. That's crazy.
Didn't see that guy this year.
No, I didn't see him either.
But. So what, this last trip, is there one moment that was funny that you'll remember for ever?
Yeah, I've got one. One of the guys, he ended up having a bike that was literally, I'm going to say about 2,000 pounds. And we actually, I'm going to use the words here, convinced him to drive that thing.
Peer pressure was not a part of it?
Nope, not at all. No.
Zero peer pressure. Zero.
But yeah, he took that thing for a ride, and the cool thing is we put fireworks on it. That added to the element. It wasn't just riding a bike into a pond. It was literally, it had fireworks and it had a ramp at the very end, and launched him. He held on all the way to the bottom of the pond.
Are you serious?
Yes, he did.
Nate dove in and got the bike after.
Yeah, I was proud of him for doing that.
Somebody that's been a reoccurring person that we've talked about on this podcast is Carter. So talk a little bit about Carter and his surprise visit.
Carter actually, I've done this 11 years now. That was my 11th year, and it was the third year. Actually, the second year is when he met us at the very end, and you go from one river to the next. So you go from the Missouri to the Mississippi, and he met us at the Mississippi about a half mile out in his wheelchair because he's got cerebral palsy, and he would actually ride in to the finish, if you want to call it that, to the river with us. And then what happened is, a year after that, he showed up again, and I noticed that it's a little unfair having him just ride for 15 minutes. So we ended up getting a bike made for him over the year, and so long story short is he's been riding with us now. We pull him along every year, at least for a day. So he's a part of the team, and I think that's the driver for me, when you can see what it does for him, and knowing the impact that we have on him, and not only that, the impact that he has on us.
And then there was a surprise visit on that day, a celebrity.
Oh, yeah. Mike from American Pickers.
Yes.
So what happened there? Tell us that story.
Nate actually recognized him. I wouldn't have recognized him. He had a full beard and everything, and he
rode up next
to us, rode with us for a little bit, stopped with us in the next town, talked to Carter for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess Carter's dad got to meet him too.
Yeah, so pretty
super cool.
Pretty neat
like,
impact.
That's awesome.
Neat for him to see that. And yeah. How many years have you been pulling Carter in the bike now?
I'm going to say 7, because we had a different bike that was made, and we think we pulled him 2 or 3 times in that particular apparatus. And then his father made the bike that he's got now, which I give hats off to him. I mean, he's like an engineer. It's not this hunky-dory bike. It's legitimate.
He's the guy that
bike.
You go to his house and you go, nice house.
Well, he made his
he
house.
Goes,
he built his house. You know, so he's got an extreme skill set when it comes to stuff like that.
And he rides too.
He does. He was hurting this year, though. He was hurting pretty bad.
He fell over into all those bikes.
This is the first year he had clips on. Yeah, I know, I'm calling him out. But, yeah, he had clips on, and at the last minute went to, clip out and didn't clip out fast enough.
Everybody does it.
Yeah,
everybody does it, yeah. Just not into a sea of bikes.
But the funny thing is, it was before the beer tent.
Was it even after?
It was before. It wasn't after. It was before. It's like, what in the world? But, yeah, so
not to necessarily turn this into a parenting podcast, but we all have 3 children. Interesting.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are substantially older than I am. Kids are as well. Kids are different. Each kid has a different personality.
Yes.
And we're finding out, because my kids are 10, 8, and 6, and as they grow a year older, their personalities grow a year apart from each other. How have you adjusted your time with the kids based off of personalities? Like, do your kids need different amounts of times with each other, or with you, or with mom?
It's great that you brought that up. It's been a big deal with us this summer. My son's going to be a junior this year. My daughter's going to be in 8th grade. She's going through a lot of changes. My son just got his driver's license. Girlfriend, he's going through a lot of changes. And my 8-year-old, that's the focus right now. My son, I do spend time with him, but you can give him a high five in the hallway and he's good with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's cool if you just go to the store with her and, hang out with her for just a little bit, right? She's spending a lot more time with mom. But my son, the 8-year-old, Matt, he needs us to play with him. I think there's times we treat him like he's 15, 16 years old because the kids have grown up so fast. And
thinking that he's more independent than
and more of more mature.
Gotcha.
And there's time he just wants to sit down and play Legos.
Mm-hmm.
Went on a bike ride last night. Jumped in the pool. Did boy stuff.
Yeah.
He just, and his attitude changes like in almost instantly.
So you can see a direct impact of the time spent with them based off the attitude afterwards.
Like he spent a lot of time at the beginning of the summer playing video games. We both work. My wife and I both work, and Tyler and Bethany would disappear, and so he'd be home with one or the other of them just hanging out playing video games. And after a while, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
And so just playing with them, just that time is different,
What's cool to hear about that, too, is like it wasn't a trip to Disneyland. It wasn't some big thing. It's like, let's build something and then destroy it and then go ride bikes.
Yeah, pretty much. Learned how to shotgun a Mountain Dew. It's a skill. You need that.
Until he does it for his 3rd grade project at school.
Science fair.
Show and tell.
Or moves from that to Bud Light.
We're going to talk about gravity. Oh, I can do that. Watch this. Yeah. And then you're at a different stage where your son is grown, runs an amazing tattoo shop, probably one of the most talented tattoo artists I've ever seen pictures of. You've got a daughter here that's got twin boys that are going to be 2 soon, very shortly, and then a daughter that is following your footsteps in the Air Force that is in New Mexico. So different stages of life than
Well, it's interesting to see how it evolves. I mean, it really is. And then what I say is don't blink because, it's going to be here before you know it. And then you can't catch up on that time. So I applaud you, James, for doing what you're doing because, the last thing you want to do is, wake up and go, I don't have opportunity to play with a little one anymore, So they grow up quick.
Well, you do. You just
I have all adults now, and I'm like, what the heck?
You get to wind up the grandkids and send them back.
And I do that quite well.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. But I agree. There are different stages, and they need different forms of attention. Or, when they start going through that teen year, sometimes they don't want any attention. They get away, you're a dork,
Well, and that's the way. So our 10-year-old's a girl, and we have 2 boys after that. And she's at that. I mean, she's a couple years behind Bethany, but she's at that point where, like, Jenny and I will look at each other and go, where's Serene? And she's been in her bedroom with the door shut for an hour and a half. I'm very strict because I don't trust anybody about like being on games with people that I don't know. So she'll be making slime or experimenting with makeup. She comes out looking like Mimi from Drew Carey or something like that. But she just from before where she wanted to sit and cuddle and play and do all that stuff, she's now is the door shut.
They're getting more independent.
And I think part of that has to do with having 2 little brothers that are 8 and 6 that tend to break everything that she owns. But yeah, just looking at that. And then Sanders, our youngest, is the savant of the family. Everybody loves him. He's cute. He has very good with words. But Easton, our middle child, is the one that, like you're saying, he's the one that needs more purposeful time. We can definitely see areas where he will get the short end of the stick. The youngest one gets all the attention because he's the shortest, he's the cutest, so on and so forth. But yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is not a single one of us, at least I can vouch for this. I didn't get the book on how to raise these kids, so, we're trying to do the best with what we've got, and the time that we do have a lot. And I think we're very fortunate with the opportunity of time that we do get to spend with our kids. And I think it's really great. I'm just watching you and your son on Ragbri this last year was really cool. Because you could tell that he's enjoying it, and I think more just like the comment that he made, and he didn't, really want to say it until the very end, but he loved the fact that he's spending it with you. So I think that was pretty cool,
And I think that alone time, that's us. Like I asked him, hey, how about bringing Bethany and Matt one day and Denisha? And he's like, nope.
This is our thing.
And Bethany has that too. So right around her birthday in January every year, we make it a point to Denisha and I'll take her on a short trip somewhere. We went to Flagstaff one year and just hung out for a weekend. And so we're searching for that time with Matt next, so I think that's huge for them too. When they have that's exclusive, that's theirs. They know.
And Jenny and I were talking about this, mainly with our daughter because she's, she won't listen to this podcast, so I'll put her on blast. So when we were in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, she's doing this thing now where she ties her shirt up into a scrunchie on the side so that her stomach can be showing just around the house.
James still does that?
Just around the house.
Yeah. So my sister-in-law, God bless her, was watching all 3 kids with her 1-year-old of her own. And Serene was getting ready to go to a birthday party and had her shirt like that. And Lauren says, negative, Ghost Rider. Untie that, move it lower. Your belly button's not showing. This is not spring break. And she goes, okay. So Serene comes back from the birthday party with her shirt up and her belly button showing. And Lauren goes, Serene, I thought I asked you not to do that. She goes, oh no, I just did it in the car on the way home. and then post the Facebook pictures from the birthday party, and guess whose belly button was showing? And I told
Not yours.
Not mine. Well, it does that usually when I bend over and raise my arms above my head. That's a different story. Last time my belly button was showing, the Mexican Navy tried to harpoon me at Rocky Point. But just talking about that, going, I need to, as the dad side, spend some time with her and whatnot. And we were talking about is, and like Aaron alluded to, is how fast time goes by. That we used to do date night once every 3 weeks with the kids, and it's probably been 2 or 3 months just because you see them all the time, right? I will go home every night, and they will be there. But it's, what is it? It's not the amount of hours you work in the day; it's how you work those hours.
Yep.
The same thing with spending time with the kids.
Sure is.
You know, so that's part of it is just making the time purposeful.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how much time we have left, you know. Nobody does, so
No.
just take advantage of the time.
But I think you were saying, too, is it doesn't have to be something big and extravagant. We got a family membership at the batting cages that just opened up down the road.
Simplicity. Simplicity is all I say.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can literally take a bucket of balls, her bat, and she pitches too, so we can go pitch or whatever. But I look at how many life lessons can be taught in a batting cage.
Mm-hmm.
You
I'm
know?
waiting for the letter from our homeowners association, the random one to all the people in the neighborhood. Who planted corn in the monument sign flower bed in front of our neighborhood? Not that Bethany and I would have done that at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
But hypothetically,
Hypothetically, I mean,
it could have happened.
corn can grow in Arizona.
Sure can.
We'll see.
And when somebody else waters it, it's perfect.
Exactly.
Well, technically, it's part of your HOA. But yeah, it's
Yeah, we were hanging out one night at the house, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, let's go plant some corn." And it's one of those moments where you have a choice. You know, no, wrong, can't do that. And I just paused for a little bit, and all right.
Yeah.
I didn't know where she was going. Hopped on the bikes, went, planted the corn.
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
That's the hard one, right? Is going how many? You try to look back. How many times did I say I was too busy, or I got to do this, or got?
And that's what Matt hears a lot. Yeah, as soon as I'm done,
Yeah.
gotta wait for Tyler. Because he's technically. So we had the cops come to our house this summer. That was exciting.
Nice.
The Oro Valley Police is very nice. They'll clear your house for you, make sure that there's no predators in there holding your kids hostage. Super cool. My phone number is 991, and Matt actually dialed 911. And they came and knocked on the door, and he was there with Bethany. Bethany was asleep in her room. Woke her up, of course. And
Woke her up while they're in the house.
while they were clearing the house. Yeah, Matt runs upstairs. Bethany, cops are here.
This
And
is
then
awesome.
we got a phone call. And I was like, "Hey, she was watching him. She's
Yeah.
13. By the way, is there a legal age where
think
kids
it's
can't be
10.
home alone?" And
think
he
it's
says, "No,
9.
I'm on the phone with them, with Bethany on speakerphone
Yeah.
while the cops are still in the house." And I was like, "Is there a legal age where they can't watch themselves?" And he's like, "Well, as long as they can tell, where you work and who you are and contact
yeah.
info, yeah." And the police officer looks at Matt and says, "All right, what's your mom's phone number?" And he says, "Hang on." And he runs over and grabs the dog and looks at the collar.
That's awesome.
And the cop was like, "Brilliant. You guys
That
are good to
works.
go. See you later." But just
Unless the
things like
dog
that.
gets out.
not to go down a bunny trail, but we've got tons of friends down Oro Valley Police Department. Just
Mhm.
phenomenal people.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal people.
Mhm.
They're the type of department that they'll come do that and then help the kids finish cooking mac and cheese,
Mhm.
eat with them, then leave.
Yeah.
Like they,
I was gonna say they want the food, man. Everybody
Yeah.
wants that.
yeah, they are awesome people. So what are you guys looking forward to over this next month and a half?
School starts tomorrow. for us and Thursday for the high schooler. So
Routine.
back to the schedule.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be
Routine.
back on schedule.
Yeah.
100%.
Heading
Yeah.
down to Austin for a little business trip down there, meeting up with some people.
We were just talking about that. 103 every day and 70% humidity.
Yeah, that's not good.
When is that?
Austin, Texas
Sunday.
is not pretty
Oh.
this time of year,
Yeah.
as in for heat.
It's
just-
green.
it's very green. But I can see it through my window with AC on.
Would you rather take green,
Uh-oh.
hot, and humidity, or just hot, no humidity, and brown?
Definitely hot, no humidity, and
I'm with you on that.
Really?
Yeah, dry heat.
Ooh, let's end with this one. Would you rather fight one duck the size of a bear or 100 bears the size of a duck? And why?
one duck the size of a bear or 100 bears the size of a duck.
Dude,
I
I'm
say
a-
one duck because
Me
that
too.
duck will put you out of your misery really quick.
Or it won't. It could
The size of a bear?
Dude, I'm gonna have
it could
nightmares of a
peck
big
you to
old
death.
duck. Yeah, you'd have to
Peck
stay-
you once.
Yeah, once. Yeah,
Aaron?
I'm duck. One.
So
big
here's
duck.
here's my thought is
What goes through his mind?
here's my thought is those bears, once they get your like one bite to your Achilles tendon and you're going down, and then just
Yep.
land piranhas
Yeah, it's
all
like
over you.
little gremlins. That's what I know.
Versus a duck, I think you could. I think I could take a
Is this on
bear
land or
size.
in water? That's it.
on land.
Okay, yeah, I'd do duck.
I think I could. Do you remember the video of the guy punching the kangaroo?
Yeah.
I feel like you could do that with a duck. I feel like you could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would. Yeah.
It's a hard question. We'll come up with one of these every time. All right, Mr. Workizer, we appreciate your time as
Thank you,
always.
Mr. Delperdang.
No problem. And then, shoot, we may take this across TSA and do one with Gary Keller and Austin.
Sounds like a plan.
We'll see. All right.
He'll say yes.
Oh, for sure. We just got to get into his office.
Just do it.
That's got a electronic keypad that looks like the
Just
White
put
House.
his name on the bottom of it.
Yeah, right.
Looks like it's official.
All right. Till
All right.
next time.
Later.
Peace out.
Bye.